Hi, I'm Tom Farnoli, JR Carbines. We're making this video today to demonstrate to you how to clean your gun and show you how simple and easy it is. The very first thing we want to do is we want to pull the charge handle back and check and make sure that the gun is unloaded. This is an all-important step in every manual, and everybody that ever did anything with firearms knows that safety is always the #1 issue. Gun's unloaded, there's no shell in the chamber, the magazine's been removed. Okay, so now we can get started. The JR Carbine, you want to make sure that the bolt handle's forward. Taking our JR Carbine wrench, and we're using the end that takes the castle nut off the back, and that's this end. You loosen it up, take it off, and you take this castle nut back as far as it'll go. You turn the gun up, rattle the stock a little bit. That loosens this washer so that you don't have any scratching or marring. Now you remove the buttstock. The next operation is we want to take the bolt out of the gun. Move bolt handle from the bolt, remove the bolt. Now we're ready to clean. Now you want to use whatever cleaning solvent that you want to use, gun cleaning solvent. Remember, this is a center fire, so there is some copper in the barrel. So you want to use something that's going to take the copper out and also the powder fouling. So what we do is we take a patch and we put it in whatever solvent that you want to use. You don't want to use gun oil, you want to use a solvent to clean the barrel. You wet the patch, push the patch through the gun. After you've run the patch through the barrel, a wet patch, you only have to do that once. Now you have to soak your brush, and I always use 10 passes in the barrel. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 10. Once you have that done, you should leave the gun set for a little while. Go get a cup of coffee and let it set. After you're done with your coffee, you come back and you get fresh patches, and I always run 3 or 4 just to make sure that the bore is dry. Put fresh patch on it, run it through your gun, and the patch will come out dirty for the first couple. You run your last patch through, inspect it. If the patch is clean enough for you, then your gun is clean. All right, now that we've got the barrel clean, we're going to inspect the trigger housing. Because we got the bolt out of the gun, it's the best time to do it. So we're going to take these takedown screws, the 3 screws on the right side of the gun, and we're going to take these out. And we're going to look, make sure everything in the trigger housing is right. One thing about blowback guns, you don't want to get them too soaked with oil. A couple of drops goes a long ways. You want to look and make sure that there's not a lot of debris in here. Unburned powder, if you have excess oil in it, you want to take that out. You want to make sure that if you have to take it out, you get in there with a cotton swab, wipe all the contact points for the trigger, okay? And it's very important that you don't soak this with oil. Make sure at that time, too, that your safety is free. If you need to put a drop of oil on it, that's okay. But only remember that a little bit of oil goes a long ways. You don't have to soak these. You put the boss in the back of the mag well, drop everything onto the receiver, replace your screws. If you want to do a real thorough cleaning, at some point you can knock the trigger pins out and clean the triggers. I'm going to show you how to disassemble the bolt so that we can clean it. This is kind of a unique design by JR Carbine, where you take the bolt extension, which is this portion, from the bolt head. You turn it 90 degrees and it'll come apart. This is the firing pin retainer, the firing pin and spring, and now the bolt's ready to be cleaned. If you want to spray it with some sort of cleaner, that's all well and good. Make sure it's a petroleum-based cleaner. Wipe everything off, take a Q-tip, go inside, clean out whatever debris is in there. After you've got the bolt all cleaned and the bolt extension, as we've described, you want to clean the firing pin, just need to wipe it off. You can use a gun solvent or anything like that. The spring goes on the firing pin, it'll only go on one way. Now there's two sides to the spring. If you put it on the firing pin and it goes right to the shoulder, it's on wrong. If you turn the spring around and put it on and have to push it to seat it on the firing pin, that's correct. That's the correct way to do it. Again, a little bit of oil goes a long way. You don't have to have a lot of oil on this. Wiping it off with a cloth is certainly good enough. You replace the firing pin by placing the spring end forward. On the back of the firing pin, there's an area that was turned so that it would fit in the firing pin retainer. You place the firing pin retainer over the top of the firing pin, and if it's installed correctly, the back of the firing pin will protrude from the back of the firing pin retainer. Now you're ready to replace the bolt extension. In order to put the bolt back together, you have to have the scallops in the bolt extension 90 degrees from where they would fit onto the bolt. And on the bolt there's lugs, and this is how you do that. And now the bolt is back together. It'll only go on one way, and it doesn't make any difference if it's either side will work. It was made that way so it'd be easy for you. Also on our bolt, that's how the charge handle goes in. It goes in this area. And that also holds the bolt extension in the proper position. So in order to replace the charge handle, you have to make sure that the scallops are in the same place that the bolt is, so that the charge handle will drop down in it, and I'll demonstrate that for you right now. Take the bolt, replace it in the gun. You look inside the gun, and you'll see this 3/8 diameter in the back. It's right at the back of the slot on the gun. That's where you line up the bolt handle, and that's where you replace the charge handle. And you look on the bolt, and you'll also see that that's in that spot. You take the charge handle and replace it in that 3/8 hole. Now you may have to jiggle it a little bit. It'll drop down, you'll feel it. There's no mistake in it. On the inside of the charge handle, there's a hole. There's an Allen head cap screw and a lock washer that slips down through the handle. That's how that attaches to the bolt. You tighten that up, and you have to tighten it up pretty good. Make sure that lock washer is engaged. Take your Allen wrench and tighten it up. And now that it's tight, move the charge handle forward. Now we're going to reinstall the buttstock. Now that you got it started, turn the gun upside down. Turn it in as far as it'll go. Now you have to back this up so that you can line up the lock washer, which is an AR-15 part, and then tighten up the castle nut. Take your JR Carbine wrench, tighten up the castle nut, And we're done with this cleaning project. The cleaning part of the gun is essential to making this gun operate properly. So make sure that you look at everything, you clean the gun properly, and I know you're going to enjoy this gun for a long, long time. Thank you very much.